The sponsor of today's video is Envato Elements. Do you edit on an iPad or an iPhone? Any iOS device really. Do you know how to get your stock audio into your app of choice so that you can add your background music, your music for emphasis and so forth? Your audio B-roll, if you will. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do it into apps like LumaFusion, KineMaster, and VideoLeap. Let's hit it. G'day, Doug back with you. In today's video, we're also all about audio and getting it into your iPad for editing. iPads and iPhones are not always straightforward in bringing in media, especially when it's something that you're getting from the web or somewhere else other than maybe plugging in your camera and downloading your video footage, which is relatively simple in comparison. But today we're going to look at what to do, so let's get cracking. Now what you're looking at is my iPad, and you can see here we're on the desktop and we're going to use a number of apps to check this out. And the first one is LumaFusion. We've got VideoLeap here. We've also got KineMaster there. So we've got a number of video apps that we can show you this process with. Now the first thing to do is, where am I getting my music from and how do I get it onto my iPad? Well, I'm glad you asked. So open up your web browser, and today we're going to go and grab some music from our sponsor Envato Elements. You can see that I'm already on the website there. I'm going to look for some music that I want to use. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to go with this one that says upbeat and exciting, assuming that says hip hop or something. It says there that there is 2 tracks. So when I download this, it's actually 2 tracks. So I'm going to hit the download button here first of all. And I need to firstly tell it what project I'm using it for. This is for the licensing from Envato Elements, so that you get the license downloaded, so that if you get hit with any copyright claims, you can say, hey, yeah, I got it from Envato Elements, it's all cool. So it belongs to this project, so I'm going to add and download. And then I get the download dialog. I'm going to click download. And then what you'll see is the little dialog at the top right there, the little circle with the arrow and the line going across, showing you the progress of the download. So we're just going to wait for it to download and then hit the next step. And there we go, it's downloaded with the little bounce of the circle. So we're going to go out of here now. Now with any web browser, whether it's desktop or even a device like an iPad, there is a download location where files download to. And in this case, on an iPad and an iPhone, it is the Files app itself. So I'm going to click on Files. And here you can see we're in the download directory already. There's 2 on this particular one, because I have one that resides in the iCloud drive and then one on my iPad. Now this is one on my iPad. Now I need to find this file. And here it is here, because I can tell by the date it says today. Upbeat, exciting, and there's a zip file. First thing you want to do, tap it once. It creates a folder. If we go into that folder, it gives us some extra information. Folder out of these that we want is the music folder, and you can see that I actually have 4 files in total, labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're different versions of the track that we selected. Sometimes with Envato Elements, in this case, you get multiple versions. It might be like a longer version, a shorter version, so you can use the best one to fit your needs for your edit. Let's select the whole lot of them. So I'm going to go select and tap on all of them to get the little checks. I want all options available to me. And when I've selected all those, what do I want to do? I want to share them. I want to send them to a particular app. Because they're MP3s and or WAV files, it's going to recognize that as music right away and give me the appropriate options of apps that will take those types of files. So you can see if I scroll across here after clicking share, it gives me more options. Click more, and then I can, looking for my apps, I can see I can send it straight away to VideoLeap. I can send it to KineMaster and LumaFusion. Now LumaFusion is the one we're going to start with today, so I'm going to click LumaFusion, and you can see instantly it opened up LumaFusion and brought that in. Now in the case of LumaFusion, it is in this folder here, other app. It says 11 items. Now before this had a few other items in it. Interestingly, it's only given me one of the files, which was number 1, upbeat and exciting, which is this one here. So now I can select that, I can queue it, it's a 3-minute 26-second version of the song, and so I can use that and bring that down to my timeline to use in LumaFusion. So that's bringing them into LumaFusion. Now it said it wanted to bring in four files, but it only brought in one. So I'm gonna make sure that I've got all 4 shared again. I'm gonna hit share. I could have gone also share directly to LumaFusion. It's got its own little shortcut there, so I could have done that as well. Would have been the same result. So if I'm bringing it into VideoLeap next, so it's automatically brought me into VideoLeap. It put it straight into the timeline. In the case of VideoLeap, it added it to the timeline. You can see here when I'm scrolling across time, it says number 1 upbeat and exciting hipster music .wave. So it's basically added it to my project, which I don't necessarily want to do if I'm bringing in everything in bulk. I just want to have it there to add to my project at will, maybe use a portion of the track, trim it down, so forth. But in this case, it decided to drop it right in for me. We're going to do this one more time. And this time, I only want to do number 3, share. More. And I think we're up to KineMaster. Let's go KineMaster. And I could, of course, go to iMovie as well. And here, it's telling me exactly where it saved it to, which is awesome. Thank you, KineMaster. It says upbeat and exciting hipster music.mp3 was saved to the internal folder in the audio browser. Where is that, you might ask? Let us, I'll go back out. If I go to audio, go to internal, and there it is, number 3. And then if I want to use that, I can click the plus button. And once I click the plus button, you can see it's added the audio track underneath my video. For me, I think the best two out of those 3 apps, the KineMaster implementation is probably the easiest to understand, probably LumaFusion second easiest, and VideoLeap is a dog's breakfast. So out of those 3 apps, you can see the process is similar. Once it gets to each app though, there's a different implementation for each one. Envato Elements delivers over 55 million assets like stock footage, music, images, motion and graphics, various templates and more. They provide a really simple license that gives you peace of mind, even when you end your subscription. When you use the link in the description, you'll get 50% off if you select the annual subscription. That gives you access to everything on the site for less than $20 a month. Make sure to check out Envato Elements today using the link in the description. And the other way, of course, of getting the audio or music into your iOS device is to sync it using the old school iTunes system, using or the music app as it's called now on Mac, and syncing playlists or a selection of songs, a selection of artists maybe, however you like to choose what gets synced. For my iPad, I've synced a number of stock music that I like to use to my iPad for if I ever edit on my iPad, so that's ready to go. That is one way to make it generally available to most apps. You can see here, if we go into KineMaster, for example, have the option for albums, artists, or songs, and so you'll see them. All these are coming from the music sync, so I've got swooshes and sweepers from MRC, I've got stuff from Epidemic, I've got, of course, some tracks that I've brought in for this purpose from Envato, of course. From an early attempt, I've got some Jingle Christmas, which is in some Envato tracks that I brought in earlier for some testing purposes for this video. So you can see there in KineMaster, it accesses that. In VideoLeap, it also does. If you go under, we go audio, and go music, everything on this side under albums, I can select to go artists, album, songs. Same difference there. And bring in, say, Jingle Christmas, which is up the top here. You can see we've got the same tracks available to us via the option. Now, I haven't checked to see if that's available in LumaFusion, so we're going to jump into LumaFusion and check that as well. Tap, hold there and go sources, files imported. Let's go add additional sources. We add the music option, I believe, which if I drag and drop it, you go music. And yes, it's okay for it to look at the music library. and you can see there I can look at songs, albums, and artists. So yeah, apps can take them both ways in most cases. So you can either send them to the app after downloading directly to your downloads folder, or you can have them all pre-synced using your music or old school iTunes library from your computer, your Mac, your PC, to your iPad. They're the main two ways of doing it. There's probably some other obscure ways, like some apps, for example, and tap the three-dot menu here, import media. When I go import media, I can bring things in from cloud sources like Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive. So you might have a syncing option that from a cloud source that you can bring directly to your app. So that is going to be app dependent on whether they have that feature here in LumaFusion. You can see we've clearly got that there. So you will just have to figure out which options are available to the app that you have. The app that you like to use, you might be using something that I haven't used here in these three examples today. You might be using a VN or VLLO. And I didn't even look at iMovie, for example. Here you can see it's an iPad, it's going to have iMovie on it. So iMovie, you're probably going to have the option where everything is synced via the iTunes app / music, and you're going to be able to send stuff or share files to those particular apps if they're of the right format, of course, whether it's MP3 or WAV file for audio, and the same applies to video, to the video editing apps, because they're designated to take those types of files. Whatever app you're using for editing on your iOS device, they're your main two ways of getting everything in and using it in your video project. Have you got a different way of bringing in your music and audio files to your video editing app of choice? It might be something obscure that is native to that particular app. So why not let me know what the app is and how it works? I'll be interested to know in some of the more obscure ways of doing it if you're using one of those. And this is Doug, and I'll catch you later.
Subscribe to Doug Hewson YT for more tech for content creation.